Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob. Happy Friday.
Welcome back to our Top 5 Fridays ski industry news videos. Really in the swing of things here. It's winter.
I know, it feels like midwinter even, like we skipped over
Lots of skiing.
normal fall skiing.
Yep, lots of nice, dry, fresh, soft snow.
Yep.
It's been fantastic.
And some heavy wet snow.
It was really
It's been
cold
very
yesterday.
interesting.
That was like my first single digit
Yep.
morning.
Yep.
Was a nice reminder of what that feels like, being
Really?
up in the parking lot in 6-degree weather.
I know, really gotten put through the paces so far in this young season.
Yeah. Great start to the season. Not quite good enough to use any of these skis behind us.
I don't know.
No, yeah, it's true. You certainly could.
Yep.
I don't know that you would gain much. But anyways, this will be, I'm pretty sure, our last ski comparison for 2024. Although I would like to fit in a binding comparison.
I've heard some clamorings for binding comparisons and stuff
I think
like that.
it's time.
Yeah.
You know, like those binding comparisons, it doesn't feel like something that needs to be done every year.
Right.
Because there would be a lot of years where it's exactly the same as the previous year. But there have been a decent amount of new binding releases since our last binding comparison. And you weren't even in the last binding comparison.
No. But like there'll be some new ones too this year that I don't know if we can include those in this year or I feel like.
Are you talking about 2025?
Yeah. Future.
Future bindings?
Yep.
We can't talk about future bindings.
I know.
I don't even know about future bindings.
I've heard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah, rumors are fun.
I don't like rumors.
Oh.
I like facts.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you want to do the news?
Sure.
Okay. So, first topic of the week. Actually, the first two topics are quite similar. We have FIS World Cup Recap. We had those two women's races in Tremblant last weekend. Back-to-back third-place finishes for Michaela Schifrin. Bob officially moving her into a tie with Ted Ligety for most career giant slalom podiums.
Ever since we had that article of like
The
the
things she
400 records she hasn't broken, now they're ticking them off. Like,
Yeah.
The podiums one was one that I thought was interesting.
Yep.
Because it shows the consistency of that top tier.
So I thought this one was actually was quite interesting because when I think about Michaela Schifrin and Ted Ligety,
Yeah.
like as individuals, I think about giant slalom when I think about Ted Ligety.
Yeah.
So like the fact that Michaela Schifrin has like matched his podiums
Yeah.
is very impressive. And like for me, you know, obviously I'm aware and acknowledge how good at skiing Michaela Schifrin is, but it was like even for me a reminder like, oh right, she's really good.
Right.
Not just at slalom, at skiing.
Yeah. And GS is like, you know, they say it's the easiest to do and the hardest to win.
Right.
And being consistent at the top like that is pretty impressive.
It's very impressive. Now, the Sunday race was particularly interesting, some very challenging conditions. Despite that, AJ Hurt picked up a 9th place finish, which is awesome. Awesome to see her in the top 10. And then Paula Moltzen added a 15th to her already impressive list of results this young season.
Yep.
Just very consistent skiing from her. On the men's side, weather continues to kind of plague their season with both of those Beaver Creek races canceled.
Have they like raced at all this year, the men?
I don't think so.
Really putting an emphasis on the upcoming races.
I thought you were going to say on the women.
Well, that's clear because that's who we talk about. But
Yeah,
it increases the weight of the men's
the upcoming races.
of any of the races.
Totally. No, it's been a slow start for the men, but hopefully that changes soon.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then on the freestyle side of things, we had a very interesting big air event in Beijing. Alex Hall took the win, but really the judging is the big story here. So how are you familiar with what happened in this event?
No.
Okay. It was
Too
very-
many flips and spins. I can't keep up.
No.
Oh,
Now you can, Bob. So this felt to me and to a lot of people in the kind of park world, this event actually felt like a fundamental shift in how judges are awarding tricks. So really, up until this point, with some exceptions, depending on the event, the biggest spin has been awarded like the highest score.
Yep.
Like who can do the most? 2160s, 1980s, all like those ridiculous numbers.
yeah.
that don't sound like they're real. In this event, the highest score of the entire event technically went to a 180.
Sweet.
I think it's a 180. It's really a 270.
Depending on like where you take off the angle of attack.
Mate sponsor, this is how I would describe this trick, did a Tokyo Drift flat 270
Okay.
with like some amount of bring back. It was kind of like a Tokyo Drift flat 3 to bring back.
So like you're taking off at
It
90.
took off at 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like skidded
Yeah.
off the takeoff on like a huge jump and went straight into like skidded flat spinny thing.
Whenever I see people taking off sideways, it usually doesn't end well.
This ended very well. And then even Alex Hall. So he's been doing this trick for a while now. This isn't like new to him, but it's cool to see him win a big air doing this trick. It's a double cork 1080 last minute bring back to 900.
Yeah, which is really an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Like defying physics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool stuff.
It's not defying physics because it happened.
Right. But you're
I
supposed
understand.
you're supposed to be able to continue on your trajectory and not reverse it without
Right.
some other force.
Yes.
So they're
Yes.
generating these oppositional forces,
Yes.
which is really impressive.
Yeah, I'm not like saying that you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because that is the common phrase. But I take
Yeah.
some enjoyment in pointing out that it's not defying physics.
Right.
It's demonstrating the potential of physics.
Right. Or just altering what we normally see,
It's
which is what a lot of
altering
these
our perception of
yeah,
physics.
which is what a lot of these high-level athletes do all the time,
Totally.
regardless of
Yeah,
sport.
NFL, NBA,
Yeah.
right. You see things all the time.
Right.
There was, I think it was the Celtics posted some Rajon Rondo highlights, I think
Yep.
yesterday. Like, talk about defying physics.
Right.
Guy used to defy physics all the time.
Yeah, he was amazing.
So, anyways, this was very interesting. It's going to be really cool to watch everything go forward and see just how judging continues throughout the season, whether this is consistent or whether this is just somewhat of an anomaly. And everyone had polls
Everyone had polls.
because they have to now.
Yep.
So, anyways,
I've always felt like more points should be rewarded for creativity and style versus spins.
yeah. I'd like to bring back pole flips.
I mean, sure.
Pole flips really went out of style. Not the pole flips you're thinking about, like throwing your pole up and catching it.
No, I was thinking about ballet pole flips.
Yeah.
Like, do you
That
think that's
doesn't-
the next step off of
No,
that
that
jump
doesn't. No,
in Beijing,
that has
hitting
no,
that
no,
thing? And
no. That has no place
never
in the
know.
park world. I don't think.
Okay, someone's gonna do it.
No, I want to see somebody like on the takeoff, throw their pole really high in the air, do their trick, and then catch their pole in the
Yeah.
landing.
Like a prop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a prop. Anyways, so I thought that was very interesting, and it was super fun. There is a highlight video in the written Top 5 Fridays. Third topic of the week. This one's pretty quick. In fact, the last two are pretty quick, and then we can just get right into our edits. OnX Maps has a new avalanche terrain exposure scale. So this technically isn't brand new news. This was added to their app last spring, but it's basically a layer that you can turn on and off to see a visualization of exposure to existing avalanche paths.
Now, the hope is that the technology doesn't replace common sense. And
Yes, the hope is that the technology is used alongside
Yeah.
existing resources as like a way to bolster your avalanche awareness and knowledge.
I always get nervous about these things.
I do too. Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is like,
Look, it
this
never
part
slid
is
there.
not on the map,
Right.
therefore it's fine.
Right.
Like, I hope that people don't
Right.
do that.
Yeah, because there can be new avalanche paths. But, you know, if you're using this, say, alongside the existing North American danger rating scale.
I saw that. I really like that name for. Like that's someplace I want to work at. I want to develop a danger scale somewhere.
I want it applied to everything. like the sitting right here.
Right.
Like this right here would be low on the North American danger rating
Yep.
scale. But
All
like
right.
once I get in my truck and start driving home, like the danger rating scale would go up.
It's
a little
going
bit.
up. Yeah, it has to.
Right.
Yeah.
Skiing and like
The world's a scary place. We need numbers to adhere to all of
I
these
want-
activities.
I want numerical data to
Yep.
tell me how dangerous everything I'm doing is. But I do think it's interesting. And if you're really into maps and just kind of like exploring through digital terrain, I think
Yeah.
you could have some fun just kind of checking it out. I could see my brother really utilizing this as a big backcountry
Yeah.
enthusiast. Fourth topic of the week. A Japanese investment group has announced their intention to spend $1.36 billion to create essentially the Whistler of Japan. That's about it.
I would have bet there was a bunch of whistlers, but it was interesting in this article that Japan has gone through like a dip in their
Yeah. We
in their
talked about
countries.
that like last spring or
Yeah.
something.
Like people either aged out or were never like
Yeah.
born into the sport, so there's
Right.
not a lot of local support.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's 25 million people in Tokyo, a 2-hour train ride from this place. Like,
Right.
it's got to work.
There's potential.
Yeah, the numbers kind of
Yeah.
indicate that this will be successful.
Yep. If you're interested, this is the Patients Capital Group, and they are looking to develop Myoko Kogen, shooting for completion in 2027,
All right.
which is pretty quick
That's
for
pretty quick.
$1.36 billion of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a big village.
I've still never skied in Japan.
I mean, I've never skied there. I've been there. The mountains are crazy. I mean, it's like here, there's a lot of like Vermont vibes and like the foothills and stuff.
Yep, but then
And
the
then
mountains are huge.
Mountains are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. I'd like to go someday.
Yeah,
Sounds like Matt might go to Japan this year.
that'd be pretty cool.
Josh is going to Japan this year. Did you know that?
No,
I heard that yesterday.
sounds like everyone's going.
I'm not going to Japan this year. I don't know that for sure, but
It's a long ride from here.
I feel like I can say it with 99.9% confidence that
Yeah.
I'm not going to Japan this year.
All right.
Especially if we're talking calendar year, because it's already December 8th.
Right, we're running out of time.
and like I just don't have that much time
No.
left in the year. Anyways, we're wasting time again. Great week for edits this week. So first up, we have The Scariest Ski Tour of My Life from Matchstick Productions, featuring Nikolai Schermer and Mark Abma. This is the stuff that both you and I don't particularly enjoy watching, because
Nope.
we're just like, that looks scary and
Yep.
dangerous.
Danger scale.
Yeah.
High.
I saw a comment on, I don't even remember what the post was, and it was just like kind of a joking comment recently of somebody being like, oh, I guess I'm a chairlift guy.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's me. I love chairlift. And then we have Kamase from Sammy Carlson. I think I'm pronouncing that at least close to correct.
Doesn't matter. It's cool. Cool video.
Really, really good. Yeah, I've actually watched it a couple times so far. And it's not tremendously long, so it's pretty easy to sit down and watch. This one I have not yet watched from start to finish, and I'm very excited to do so. We have Abstract from Faction Skis. I think Faction is like certainly a leader in ski films these
Yeah.
days, which is just cool, and we've talked about that plenty of times before here. And then finally, we have The Art of Recreation from Level 1 Productions.
Sounds fun.
Great name, right?
Yep.
We often talk about how skiing is recreation rather than a sport.
Right. It is very recreational for most people.
Yeah, it is a recreational activity.
Yep.
So, anyways, that's it. Keep an eye out for this next week. You'll also very likely see our 2024 snowboard test results, which unfortunately we're publishing drastically later than we would have liked, but
Life gets in the way.
how things
Yeah.
panned out this year, and
Yep.
there's plenty of other stuff to work on. So shooting for that earlier in the week. This you'll probably see Tuesday or Wednesday, and then again, pending any unforeseen circumstances, I'd like to do another on snow review next week.
No, people seem to like those, and
Yeah.
they're pretty fun to do.
Yep, and I think there's a good chance that we may have different conditions next week.
Yeah. Our run of luck is coming to an end this weekend.
Yeah. We'll see. So, anyways, hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.